This interview is a paid advertisement. It was produced on behalf of the company and is considered investor relations activity under Canadian securities law. All statements and opinions are those of the guest and should not be construed as investment advice. Please do your own due diligence or consult a registered investment advisor.
Hi, I'm Brien Lundin with the Gold Newsletter YouTube channel. We are here at the New Orleans Investment Conference, the event that I produce for better or worse. It's really better this year, a lot of energy. Excited investors here, great gold market, mining stocks all moving, and I have the great pleasure to talk to Tara here with Banyan Gold, which was one of the companies that we've been recommending for some time now in Gold Newsletter. Tara, Banyan is what I have been talking to my readers about, one of these companies that has a tremendous gold resource that has yet to be revalued in accordance to what the gold price and now silver and other metals as well have done. So the mining stocks have lagged. Investors are starting to get into the majors, work their way down the food chain, but these companies with big resources have yet to be re-rated accordingly. I have talked about this conceptually with investors, and I've yet to come up with a better example than Banyan as the preeminent company that's just ready to go and get re-rated by the market. Tell me where I'm wrong in this.
Well, I think you are right. And what I love about this conference here is this is kind of the first movers in the retail space, because this group of people has been following your newsletters, other newsletter writers, and you're seeing them really understand the opportunity. And so, this year, right, the excitement is real this year. Like, people are coming, they're enthusiastic about mining stocks. They can really see what's happening with gold and silver. So it's if that's a tide that's going to come in the general retail market, because there's always the people the miners themselves, people who know the industry, then you get the retail that understand the mining, and then the more generalist, I think, will start to pay attention.
Yeah, and I think that money's starting to come in as well in trying to find opportunities like this. So you make a good point. So let's say an investor's not aware of Banyan, comes by your booth here. Let's set the stage for the audience as well. Sure. What do you tell them to give the quick synopsis of what you are and where you're going?
Well, we've got two great projects in the Yukon. Our primary project is our AurMac project, where we just put out that new geological resource this year. 2.2 million ounces of indicated and 5.4 million ounces of inferred.
Which is a big thing to get that much into indicated,
Absolutely, and our new geological model, I think that gave people a lot of confidence in how the gold is hosted and that it's recoverable with the work that we've done in metallurgy. So both of those things are important. We also put out a new 43-101 on our secondary resource, basically 500,000 ounces down in southeast Yukon at a gram. So that adds more to our total ounce.
And is that close enough to have synergies?
No, probably not.
Okay.
It probably would have maybe more synergies with somebody that purchases the Eagle mine that's for sale down the road for us. And that process is apparently going to come to a close still. The date is still listed on the website of the PwC as the end of the year.
And that process actually held down your share price for a while, but it's been resolved, right?
Somewhat, It hasn't been purchased by somebody and put back into production, but that's part of the reason why we're underrated.
The shareholding and
the shareholding, they no longer own a single share. I got confirmation of that. We have 100% title to our property, clean title. The court gave us a vesting order giving us that. So that's all really positive. And that was a major catalyst for us. People perceive that shareholding as an overhang. And it's part of the story why we haven't re-rated, despite the fact that we having plus 7 million ounces in the Yukon, with roads already on the property, with power line already on the property that goes to the hydro dam that's only 40 kilometers away, even cell phone service. I think as projects move forward in this great market, companies are going to be looking to advance projects that can get built in this cycle. I think we have a lot of advantages to that.
Yeah, and a lot to talk about there. But first, because your technical expertise and how you're checking those boxes off for an eventual purchaser is really important, and I want to talk about that. But the re-rating aspect of it, you were for a long time, and one of the reasons why I recommended Banyan to my readers was that you're valued in the market at about $10 an ounce in the ground. And a lot of companies, yours as well, have benefited from this better gold market. And you would think that that undervalued status maybe has changed because you've gone from, say, $10 an ounce in the ground to, say, $30. But these deposits, especially premier deposits like yours, that are large enough to be really of strategic value, they typically sell for much more, like $150 an ounce in the ground in a normal market, hundreds of dollars an ounce in the ground in a very excited market, which we think we're really getting into here. So,
well, that's why it's so exciting to be telling my story here, because yes, we've got shareholders that bought last year and made money, but I can also feel really confident talking to people that you've got a great opportunity to make money by buying Banyan now. We're still under $30 an ounce. Our peers just down the road and in the Yukon, several of them are trading at, over 100 and one even closer to $200 per ounce. So, can we re-rate? And that's partly why we're so very focused on what we're doing to check those boxes off. That high grade that we're looking for in Powerline, high grade at Airstrip, that high grade silver. That's another little twist to the story.
Yeah, and your technical team has been you've been very diligent in building up a technical team that does the work, gets environmental work done ahead of time, the long lead time work, and that de-risks the project for a potential major purchaser. But for any large open pit deposit, you're always looking for that sweet spot to really bring the payback forward, really juice the economics. And that's been one of the things for a long time that you've looked at your deposit, or investors have looked at it and said, where is the starter pit? Tell us about what grade is it, and tell us about what's been going on there.
So Airstrip, that discovery that we made last year, where we intersected that area, that the felsic dike intersected the metasediments, 16 meters of 9 grams, 40 meters of 4 grams, lots of 11, 16 gram intercepts, all within 60 meters of surface. So that's an obvious area. We're seeing some very clear east-west trends through this, so that dike contact likely extends east-west, and you'll see we've put 50% of our holes this year, of the 40,000 roughly that we've drilled so far, into the Airstrip deposit, following that east and west and following up on the high grade there. The other 40% is going into Powerline, following up on those plus 1 gram and 1.5 gram zones that we also see right on surface. And if you see a section of our deposit, we have 4 very clear high grade areas, 3 that we've drilled off.
So really you could have a few starter pits that could really juice the economics.
And because we already did a lot of the work towards our PEA, because when we thought we had to do the final earn-in and had to have a PEA out for this year, we already looked at where the pits would be, where the mine sequencing is. So not only are we following up on the high grade, but we're following up on the high grade that we know fit within those pits, or where converting things to waste are going to be significant to the or things from waste to ore, areas where you're dropping the pit floor because you've ended in high grade. All of those are pretty significant to the economics, and we're able to do that because we've done that technical work.
And you've done the geological interpretations and advanced the model, right? And that's helped in a number of ways.
Well, our new geological model, and I added Duncan Mackay, ex-Yamana, expert at modeling, and that's really helped us improve our targeting. We've also improved our processes in the field, so we're logging real time, we're getting information faster so that we can adapt the drill program within the season to what we're finding. And that's one of the reasons of the success of the silver, is that we're not only drilling out Powerline high grade areas, but with the bonus we also might hit this high grade silver vein.
Tell me about that, because it was an historical result that hit some high grade silver, and you never really followed up on that before.
Yeah, it was 2021. We drilled some holes back then, so it's not that long ago. And at that time, silver was kind of confusing. It's Keno Hill style silver, so similar to what Hecla has next door and what they process through their mill. It's quite different though. So like our main deposit's about 100 million years old, and if you think of it as like a layer cake, and you come along and you cut it with a knife, a fracture happened, and then the silver mineralization came in at about 80 million years. So it's a very distinct, discrete vein that we're seeing through there, and if we can find anywhere where those kind of grades, it dilates. So that's the target, to find some very high grade. It's right near surface. pretty interesting target to follow. Looks like the trend goes right to their Birmingham deposit, which is one of their
really?
very
Which
high
is a
deposits.
tremendous deposit, yeah.
Very high grade.
Yeah.
So, it's just an extra, and we aren't actually drilling any extra holes. We're just changed the drill plan a little bit, and we're continuing to add ounces and improve power line economics while also looking for silver.
Well, let's talk about the catalyst then, because you've got a good bit of drilling. I mean, you're well funded now. Let's start there.
Yes, with over $42 million in the bank, with that strategic financing that we did with Alpayana, a Peruvian private mining company, that's really set us up well. We can really get focused on what we're doing. We know we've got a program for next year of over 50,000 meters, and we will finish that PEA, maybe even try to advance this project a little quicker.
Yeah.
We want to get our results in before we let the cat out of the bag about everything that we're going to do.
Yeah.
But catalysts, we're going to have over 150 more drill holes to come.
Oh my goodness.
I still have 4 drills turning today in November. We will wrap up drilling by the end of December and then take a break so we can actually process our results, give our people a bit of a rest, and we'll be back at it in March. Again, we'll have 4 drills going.
Wow,
so pretty exciting.
What a change from when we first started talking. I don't know, it was only 2-3 years ago. And as I remember, it was a 4 million ounce deposit. You were fairly well funded, but you were really husbanding that money and sometimes not drilling because the market wasn't rewarding you for it. And now you're able to do what that deposit deserves and really outline it and expand it. I mean, if we look at the trajectory of, I know you can't really talk to this, but the trajectory of the resource, what are your priorities now? Are you going to infill? Are you going to explore the edges or expand the resource?
A little bit of both of those. So, that targeting 5 million ounces of 1 gram, which would go in your mine plan, or plus 1 gram, that's what the hypothesis of this year's drill program has been.
Really? That would be...
Within that bigger deposit.
Yeah.
If that's there, that will be quite an exciting story, and that'll drive the economics of our PEA. So as we're doing that, because we're drilling denser holes, we're getting more indicated, following up on some of those high-grade zones, but we're also adding ounces, both because we're getting higher grade and we're also stepping out. So you'll see a combination of adding ounces as well as really focusing on those high-grade areas.
So you think there's the potential here for 5 million ounces at plus 1 gram?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, I don't know how the market's going to be able to ignore that.
Well, and that's part of the thing, getting that message out is like, take another look. Banyan has some very significant high grade. When you get painted with a brush of being low grade, it takes a change, and people are starting to get that. Some of the sophisticated investors, some of the people that have come on site tours this year have come up and they've gone, wow, this isn't what I thought it was. And look at that road and that power line that I just drove under. Those are all pretty interesting. Plus the catalyst of the mine beside us selling. If it truly is on time and sells by the end of the year, all of a sudden I have another miner right beside me. And Banyan, that miner's actually interested in us, or all the people that participated in that process, or the other majors that maybe didn't, that are looking for ounces, are looking at us. We are very rare, and we are standalone without that mine. They need us more than we need them, both for ounces, and our deposit will be a mill. And one of their deposits that they're acquiring with that mine will be mined at a mill. So it's interesting times.
And just to review, this year's drill program is over, and you have 150 holes coming up. So you will be releasing news, I would think, through the winter.
Through the winter and into 2026. We're going to be cutting core till the first week of December, because our drills will shut down in late November. So that takes a little time. You got to cut the core, you got to ship it to the lab. The prep lab does their thing, and then you get your results and you do your QA, Q2, so QA, QC. So I'm expecting drill results till March.
And those results, as we discussed briefly, but as I've observed in the market, have really been changing the character of the whole story. We're getting a lot of that those high grade pits that are going to really supercharge the economics. Tara, thank you so much for talking with us today. Exciting story. I look forward for all these drill holes.
Yes, and thanks for this great conference. It's a lot of fun this year.
Thank you.